I know, I wasn't expecting me to stream today either, but I've got a little bit of free time, so we're gonna get some pYanodon's in. Oh, I need to grab some. How is steel so complicated? Oh, you think steel's complicated? It's only got 3 ingredients. My sweet summer child. Oh man, just wait until you see super steel. Super steel is, that's complicated. That's what worries me. Yes, and it should worry you. It is exactly the right thing to feel. Let's see. Oh, Cirky. Cirky needs to hitch a ride in the Santa hat. What's up, Lodro? Let's see what's going on. I gotta get my YouTube live stream thing all working. It looks like Caster Labs is not working. Reconnect that. You spend a lot of time not researching things in pYanodon's, J7. I'm not worried about it. This is our Zen garden. Please, no shouting in the garden. Thank you. No shouting in the garden. Okay, I do want to fix these buttons though. I don't need resource monitor. I don't need vehicle snapping. I don't need search factory. I might use that one. I definitely don't need planner because that's just mod. Rate calc I don't need. Map editor I don't need. And we'll get rid of one more. How about we get rid of tasks? Okay. There we go. How much SPM is it? Right now it's more MPS than SPM. We do not have science automated yet, so I don't know if that answers your question, but that's how we're doing. Science per eternity, exactly. Let's see, are both chats working? That's the YouTube chat, and yes, it is working. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, we're at about 5 hours, you can see up there at the top, so we're not too far in. Alright. Yeah, seems about right for Pi, exactly. What I do need is to automate science, and coal gas and tar. Because we don't need steel for the science, so I should probably just work on automating science next. Let's get rid of these trees. We'll start the stream by doing some logging. And then I need to put away... I need a dump chest area. Let's have a central dump chest. second. Someone's knocking on our door. We're back. Alright, so I was in the middle of putting away some logs because I have way too many. I think they must have buffed. They buffed something. I don't know if it's. Is it wood from logs? No, I think it was always 5 each. But it definitely. We needed to cut a lot more trees. I think the last time I played than this time. I feel like they're more generous. I've seen some trees are giving me 2 logs, so that could be part of it. Is that now trees give you like 1.5 logs or something instead of 1, which is 50% more. But, yes. This is Cirky. Cirky is the channel's unofficial mascot. You started Angel Bob's, gave up. Later you started a fully modded C-block run, gave up. You're on Space Age now. Never tried Pi, but if you started, you'd give up. Yeah, that's certainly how it goes. I get it. I gave up on a lot of modded runs before I ever beat one. Like, I actually did a Bob's... I think Bob's alone was my first modded playthrough. And this was before Factorio 2 existed, so... I would actually suggest Factorio 2 to people trying out a modded game. If their goal is actually to, like, play them through and complete them, I think Factorio 2 is the best one to start with. Thick trees give 2 logs. Oh, I didn't realize... Wait, do they? Because that says expected resources is still only 1. So I think it's random. Because that one just gave me 2. And these say expected resources 1, so I think it's really 1.5, and they just have a chance to roll 2 logs. Factorio 2 plus space exploration is insane, yes, but Factorio 2 by itself is not. Factorio 2 is like a miniature mod compared to space exploration. K2 just enhances space exploration in a few ways, and space exploration becomes the main mod that you're playing in that scenario. Alright, anyway, so moving on. I think we want to automate science, so I'll probably start recording. Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3, episode, I think we're on 5, not 100% sure anymore, but Merry Christmas Eve is the day this is being recorded, but for you watching, if you're from future YouTube, it is not Christmas Eve anymore, it is, what is it, December 20, late 20-something, in the almost 30s. But today we're going to be working on this guy. Automation Science Pack. So we don't have wood automated, but other than that, we can automate everything else, sort of. Ash is also not really automated, but at only needing 6 per pack, we can probably figure this out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up here a bunch of burner assemblers, and we're gonna act like we are using wood as the fuel, which will not create ash. And I'll just act like that's the case. I'll actually put raw coal, and they'll just build up a buffer of ash for now. They don't, if I'm remembering correctly, they'll run until they have 1,000 ash in their inventory dump slot thing. So it's gonna be a long time before they stop running. I probably need to craft a few more as well. So as far as the actual plan, we should make one. So automation, science, and we definitely don't want 1 per second. I think we want 0.1 per second to start. Maybe I'll go for 0.2. We'll go a little bigger. What just happened? Did my monitor just die? Hold on. My third monitor just got really dark. Like one of the backlights just died, I think. Right in front of my eyes. Cool. Alright. Merry Christmas to me. That sucks. Like, it's still working, but it's very dark. And I definitely didn't change any settings. So, yeah. Okay, well, back to doing this, and that's where my chat readout is as well, which is frustrating. All right. So, small parts, add those in, planter boxes, empty planter boxes. Native flora is easy, we just need to mine that. It looks like we need 2 flora collectors for that. This is providing the ash, so what you can do, I hit the wrong button. Is it shift click? Yeah, you can shift click it to say, hey, we're not providing this resource. That's not what we're trying to provide. Because this recipe needs ash, right? And so this was trying to provide ash, but shift clicking it excludes that as a product, which is what you want. So that's good. Otherwise, you've got problems. So this is all pretty low amounts, but we're gonna need cable. I wonder if I can you like say stop trying to fulfill that? Like, ignore this ingredient. I don't know if there's a way to do that. That would be a nice feature, to be able to click something on the ingredient list and say just ignore it. What we can do is just above this line, I can just create some dummy recipe to meet the need for ash. And then these things won't be. The other option is just shift click ash on all of these. But we're gonna be using wood as the fuel anyway, eventually. I guess it kind of doesn't matter. So bolts, sticks, and gears. Let's put all the small parts stuff together. I also think, does control click work? Yeah, the other thing that works is control clicking the other thing. So you can either exclude or set as the main product, which then excludes the others, I think. Anyway, so we need 1.1 iron, 0.3 copper, 1.6 stone, which is actually probably the biggest cost because that's like 3.2 stone ore, and 2 soil a second, which is exactly 1 soil extractor. Yeah, automation science is flowers, and then you put, I don't know what the small parts are for. I think you're using the small parts to, I don't even know. Maybe the small parts are also like flowers. You know, you've got a little wrench here and a daisy here, and that's how it goes. Anyway, this is our stuff here. I don't want to look at beacons. We can put that over there. Have that as our nice little reference. We literally only need 1 assembler for everything. So maybe should I go a little faster? Because this would be pretty easy to double to 0.4. And then I only need 2 assemblers for the planter boxes, which I can direct feed even. So let's do that. So these are going to be the science. These are going to be the planter boxes. Probably go in alternate. No, I don't know where they go. Alien life. And then, gosh, I'm so frustrated about this monitor issue. I'm gonna try turning it off and back on again. It's also, oh, that actually worked. Cool. That was weird. Okay, so then we've got that. Again, we don't need to deal with ash, so I can ignore that. We do need to deal with fuel coming in to the buildings, though. And then we need empty planter boxes, which can be direct fed from 1. Okay, those are done. And then the flora can be on a belt with the wood, and then we can feed it into both that way. And then we'll need small parts on a belt right here. And then, sorry, I just got sniffly all of a sudden. And then we need ash for this guy and soil. So that can be here. This is where Bob's adjustable inserters really change things, in my opinion, for the better. I love it. I love it. So now we just need to do the small parts, the soil, and the flora. Okay, let me craft a few more of these bad boys. Looks like I need, what? A lot more iron plates. Which I should have built up over here. What's going on here? Oh, I have equals 4. It needs to be greater than or equal to 4. Oops. Also, I found the bug. The bug that we found out, it is not a Factorio bug. It is not a Bob's Adjustable Inserters bug. It is not a Quick Adjustable Inserters bug. It is not a bug of pYanodon's. It is a bug from the mod Additional Paste Settings, which I love this mod. It's so nice for pasting recipes into requester chests and stuff. But it has this setting, filters reset if paste from same insert. And it's checked by default. So you have to uncheck that. Otherwise, if you copy and paste back onto the inserter, it'll overwrite it, which is really annoying. You can see I actually just did that because I hadn't changed the setting back. So that is finally fixed. Boom. It actually remembered. So there you go. That needs to be greater than or equal to as well. I think it's just easier to right-click and then left-click drag than right-click move, left-click drag. Right? It's like, it's one less action to just right-click and then left-click drag without moving the mouse first to the next inserter. So I think that's why I've always done that. I was thinking about it yesterday. I'm like, why do I do it that way? And I think it actually does make some amount of sense. I like how you can just boil it down to check marks on the thing you're making. Alright, minimize that for now. We can maximize it. And ash is going to be interesting. We're going to have to figure that out. But for now, we need a bit more flora. Also, flora spoils. So this is going to be an issue moving forward that I'm going to have to figure out. We can already see this is full of the spoiled version. Flora spalinin is, I think, how I'm going to pronounce it. The rocket capacity of this is 10,000, in case you were wondering. You can send 200 stacks of fluorospalinin up in a rocket. So yeah, what we're gonna have to do... I don't even know, to be honest. As spoilage be spoilin'. So, first of all, yeah, I think I'll go over by this line. And I'm really running out of space on this, in this section of the base. And so, what I'm gonna need to stop doing is building anything over here. Basically, we're gonna leave it to only ore collection is over here. And we're just gonna, you know, leave this area for belting stuff over. Okay. By the way, on our task list, we are doing this. Automating the automation sites. Oh, that didn't work properly. That's interesting that that doesn't work. So if you have this and this, it won't accurately see that it needs to go over the sideways underground. That's really interesting. I mean, I assume that's a base level Factorio bug right there. Oh, my poor inventory. Oh, we really need those inventory upgrade researches. Dump chest. Alright, let's clean up a bit. I guess I don't need these things. I mean, I really don't need that much raw coal. Just sitting on my person. Okay. So, we'll leave the space for some copper shenanigans there. And then we'll bring this up. So it can be over here with the... I don't know if we can call that a main bus, but we'll call it a main bus. Okay, so there's the floral stuff, but the fluorospalinin is going to spoil. So we're going to need a filter inserter. On the end, I think... So I was thinking about this, I don't know if it was episode 1 or 3 or 2, but I was thinking about this idea of when you have stuff on a belt, is it ever possible that something in the middle spoils if something on the end isn't spoiled? And I think the answer is no, but I have to confirm it. My brain has to confirm it for itself. So, the timer I guess it depends on how you're loading the belt initially, but we're assuming that we're loading it just from like direct mining or direct insertion, where like the newest items will always be further back on the belt, right? We're guaranteeing that. The same would happen if you had, you know, the decayed first setting on an inserter. So that's the same idea there. So this item here always has more spoilage than this item. And this item has more spoilage than this item. So if the items in the middle get taken, let's ignore the end for a minute. If items in the middle get taken, the spoiled to fresh gradient will have gaps in the gradient, but it will still be true. It will still be a gradient of most spoiled here, least spoiled here, always. It is impossible for anything here to ever be more spoiled than that one there on the end. I am comfortable with that logic, which means that if any item is to spoil on the belt, it has to be the furthest forward item. I'm comfortable with that logic. Okay, I've confirmed it for myself. I mean, I know that we used that exact mechanic on Gleba, I just don't think I ever checked fully that, like, the thing on the end is always the thing that spoils. You know, I just figured it would always eventually clean things out, but I never really confirmed in my head for sure that, like, stuff in the middle is never gonna spoil, which we just confirmed it won't. Because this, you know, we're gonna need flora for, what's it called? We use it for, like, Vrauk stuff. I don't know where Vrauk stuff is. Hold on, let me Factoriopedia this. We use it for, yeah, like Vrauk stuff like this. And, you know, I'm just like, okay, if it could spoil in the middle, then that could be a problem where some of my Vrauks aren't running while the thing on the end that gets rid of spoilage isn't working yet because the stuff it's grabbing isn't spoiled. The issue is if you start to do loops or you start to mix belts, and that is problematic, potentially. So, yeah. Also, ZS3000, you're welcome for streaming. I'm happy to do it because I'm having a lot of fun here at the beginning of Pi. So anyway, we're gonna mix this with a wood belt, I think, which I don't know where that's gonna come from yet. Also, Turkey Pilgrim, you can unload from a chest as well, with decay priority, decayed first. And then that will create the same gradient of spoilage. Well, no, I guess it depends on what's being fed into the chest, right? If the things fed into the chest aren't a gradient, anyway. Okay, well, there's lots of things to think about with spoilage, but for now, the only thing we have to consider is the things on the end of the belt. So fuel will be, this will be our fuel belt. Gonna go this way. We'll move the belt around as needed. Cause this guy, once wood is on the belt doing the fueling, that'll be double amazing. In fact, can I just use the wood as fuel? Is that really gonna be problematic? Like, can I afford that right now is what I'm trying to say. The answer is yes. Wait. Yeah, because 1.6 of that wood is the actual ingredient. I only need 0.2 wood a second to run this, and then I don't have to deal with any of the ash output. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna craft me one of those wood processing units. And we're just gonna utilize that for now. Soon we'll have the oh, these have an output now too? Oh my gosh. So many buildings have an auto output now. That's That's new. I mean, like, we already saw another building. I forget what it was. That also, the soil extractor wasn't like that before either. And now it is. So there's a lot that they've probably added. If there's already 2 buildings I've seen like that. Yeah, there's no power over here. Okay, so there's power. And where, before we go any further, is my stone brick still building up? Good. Yeah, I want to make sure we can pave the world in stone brick. We'll pave it in something else later, but for now, stone brick is good. Later we get tiles that give me 300% movement speed, which is wonderful. Alright, so then for now, we're going to hand feed, well, not hand feed, but manually feed in from a box wood. But then it just dumps it. How cool. Wow, that's neat. Alright, so there's that. Now, I'm curious. Does it prevent it from running a second recipe? No. Cool. Alright. So there's fuel. Yes, bricks stack to 1K. And now we need soil and ash on this belt. So, a soil extractor, or was it 2? 2 soil extractors. And then we just need the small parts. And we need to bring in the brick and the iron. Flora is apparently fuel too. Oh my god. I totally missed that. Automated insertion limit 5. That's a new... What is that? Do you guys see that on the tooltip? Automated insertion limit is 5. That's interesting. So that is a fuel. It's a very small fuel amount, so it's pretty bad. 175 kilojoules. And the decay... That's actually problematic. That could be really problematic. Uh-oh. So... Oh, is that just... What? Oh, is that just telling me? Hold on. Soil doesn't have an automated insertion limit. Oh, this is this a pie thing? I don't know what this is, but this is amazing. So this is telling you inserters will insert 6 ash into this particular assembler, like before it, you know, when it's backed up. That's really cool. I don't know where that's coming from. That's certainly new. Was that a Space Age thing? Has that been in Space Age the whole time and I never noticed it? Or is this a pie thing? I don't know what that is, but I like it. Anyway, what I'm thinking about now is this is problematic because there is a world where we run out of wood and then it grabs flora as fuel, which is bad, but fine-ish. And then eventually that flora spoils, because let's say science gets backed up again, so the flora spoils, and now we have a trash output that's not being dealt with. Well, but that has fuel value too, and so does its fuel value. So that's a question that unfortunately I can't easily test. Is if it spoils in the fuel slot, does it stay in the fuel slot? What happens in fuel slot stays in fuel slot? Question mark? Or not so much. This is not something I've ever had to answer before. So, do we have any that's very close to spoiling? Because, thankfully, the things that it spoils into are also burnable. But no, we filled up this chest a long time ago, and now it's all spoiled. And so there's not any that's, like, close to spoiling. So I can't easily test that. We can wait a few hours and test it then, I guess. Remind me in 3 hours, everybody, to test that out. But, yeah, that's kind of an interesting dilemma. I don't know if I like that. Because now it means we have to... At least for the ones that are these other buildings, I can just filter on wood, right? But the problem is you can't do that for... Like, there's literally no way to prevent this possibility for these buildings, other than never running out of wood, of course. If you never run out of wood, it's fine. So I guess the way that you could prevent this, like if you really, really, really wanted to prevent it, is you would make it so that these buildings don't run if there's not wood on the belt, right? Because then that guarantees there's always going to be wood to refuel the building. So that would be the way to guarantee you never end up using flora as fuel. So we would do something like or simpler method, though weird, because you can't have a building read its own self. But basically I want to read the contents, include fuel, and then I want to enable it if wood is greater... Oh, it can see its own fuel? Then 5. No. Well, greater than or equal to 4. I didn't mean to do that. So then it won't run. Disabled by control behavior. There we go. Wow. But you have to connect it to something, even though that something doesn't need to do anything. That's funny. But that should work. Right? And then these just don't have anything set. So they're hooked up, but they're not doing anything. So that way they only run if they have at least 4 fuel, which means if we run out of fuel, they'll stop running and we won't run the risk of putting flora into the fuel slot. The only issue with this solution, it's kind of frustrating. You can't filter, you can't tell inserters only put into the fuel slot, because there is still an issue with this. And the issue is that we can't copy paste it. It's not a copy pasteable design, because you have to prime the proper thing in the fuel slot. And as far as I know, the only way to fix this would be when you paste it, you have to let wood flow through first and then flora. Like, there's no way, if an inserter can access both, there's no way to tell the inserter only put wood into the fuel slot. I don't think there's actually a way to do that. So anyway, this solution will work forever as long as I don't deconstruct this. Or whatever. You can do read inventory and not allow the flora inserter to work if it doesn't have flora. That, I think you added a negative? not allow the flora inserter to work. Oh, if it doesn't have wood, that makes more sense. I guess you could filter the inserter based on a combinator. I mean, I'm not actually gonna do this, but we're theory crafting. But if you had two separate inserters, you could filter the inserter. You could have a constant combinator that's feeding a signal of like -4 wood or something, or feed a signal of 4 wood, and it subtracts what's in there from this, so it only does. Basically, there's always a wood inserter activated. Yeah, if you have separate inserters, it's a little easier because you always have a wood inserter activated. But then there's a flora inserter that only activates if the wood in the building is greater than 0. And then it would never insert flora into the fuel slot because wood can only go into the fuel slot. Now, do we have a similar issue for this building? I mean, this one I can just do a wood inserter filtered and it's fine. Well, kind of. No, we do have the same issue here. Because if I do a wood inserter, it can't do the other ones. So I need 2 inserters for this building. Or I can just... This one I can't even do the same solution because it has extra... I would have to change the number. When do I get electric inserters? Exactly. I'm just gonna do this. And these ones are fine because they're just filtered. So, and this should have a blacklist. Wait. No, I don't need another inserter. Because the other 2 items are coming from a different belt. What am I talking about? This is fine. This one has no issues as well. It's just a different belt that comes in with brick and iron. Alright, I think that's all good. So we need brick, iron, ash, and soil as 4 additional inputs. And then we'll be okay. So soil. I don't know what I'm doing. Does anyone really know what they're doing? Let's be honest. Alright, brick. Iron. I guess we need copper. Oh! Yeah, I think my monitor's dying. One of the backlights just went out again. Some vigorous shaking does not seem to be changing anything. It's an old monitor. I got it for free. I can't really complain that much about it, but that is unfortunate because I've gotten used to my 3 monitor setup. So I will have to get a replacement. What does the flora give as a burned output? Nothing. It is a bio-friendly fuel. There is no burn result, which is nice. Pretty much all of the plant-based things are like that. At least that's how it's been. So I'm glad they stayed consistent with that. All right, so then we've got you, you, and you. Am I gonna do a main bus? Don't ask. I don't know yet. And then up here, I can't wait for splitters though. I'll tell you that. Combine iron and stone. And then we'll make, I think I'll make some extra small parts here separately. Well, I don't know. How many small parts do I actually need? I only need 0.8. Which, as I'm looking at buildings, I can make triple that with 1 of every building. So maybe I just make a better small parts build and use the small parts from that. What's the issue with burning it? Yeah, it's actually just the fuel value is crap. That's the issue. It only runs a building for 3 seconds each, so you'd use a lot of the flora, like way too much. Because if I'm running 5 buildings, I'd be using like 1.5 per second just to run the buildings. So that's more the issue than anything. If it had a better fuel value, I probably would just use it. And there are other mechanics that will show up, like, because the decay result has triple the fuel value, basically. And then the decay result of that has the same. And later you can just compost the fluorospalanin, or you can refresh it with steam. Or you can get bio crud. It's all sorts of fun new stuff. Yes, Thomas, the decayed product can burn. The thing I don't know yet that we want to test is if there's a decayable product or decayable item in the fuel slot and then it decays, does it stay in the fuel slot or does it get itself moved to the like basically where spoilage goes, which is the extra trash output? It wouldn't go to this. This is the spent fuel slot, so it wouldn't go there. That's where like ash goes. But I'm not sure if it would go to the trash slot, even though it could stay, or if it's gonna stay in the fuel slot. I hope it stays in the fuel slot, but I could see it going either way. And depending on, honestly, depending on the situation, either one could be the desirable outcome in the game. You might want either one depending on what's going on. So the small parts belt can actually just be going the other way. And then planter boxes are good to go, minus ash and soil. Soil's easy, we just need water over here. Actually could be a bigger problem than it sounds. I don't know how far we can go with this water, but we're gonna try. I think I'm gonna go above the stone here. And we'll figure out aluminum later. We're at 193 out of 320. We might be okay. Aylor says 99% sure it won't stay in the fuel slot. That's pretty confident for something that hasn't shown up in like it doesn't show up in Space Age, so there's no way you could know that for sure. Granted, I'm also leaning towards it probably goes into the trash slot, but I definitely am not that confident. Okay, so 2 soil extractors. We can kind of put these anywhere. Oh, right. I can just put it right on a belt. This is so nice. I'm just not used to the fluid pass through combined with the auto output. Those are both new since the last time I played. So we can just straight up soil that side of the belt. And then we just need ash, which sounds really easy, but I don't have any on hand. The actual amount is 6 to 1. 6 ash per science. Is that right? Yeah. So if I were to get like 12,000 ash, that should last us a while. And then I can't make speakers yet, so we'll just have to pay attention. Oh, there's 6,000 ash. Already got it. I will hand feed the ash for the moment because I don't want to belt the ash all the way over quite yet. Maybe I just should. Maybe I should just do it and say screw it. Do it and say screw it. Yeah. You always gotta keep some ash on you because it does require, or some recipes require it once in a while. We'll feed that there. Activate those on soil. Boom. Also, the astute might have noticed these are slower than before, and they make 16 soil. Well, I'm gonna bet a very small amount of money that I wouldn't actually pay out to anyone if I was wrong. That's because of belt stacking. Just like the big miners automatically stack now, I am guessing these automatically stack now. So, having a bigger recipe allows it to actually stack the output. Though it's gonna get weird if you have like a stack size of 5. I don't know exactly. Will it go 5, 5, 5, 1? Or will it go 5, 5, 5 and then wait until the next recipe's done? I'm actually not sure. What's up, B. Jonas? Yeah, Christmas hat, because it's Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, everyone. At least if you celebrate it. I know not everybody does, which is totally fine, but I do, and it's fun for me. All right, so now all we need is small... How did that get there, by the way? Anybody know? Anybody? Anybody got ideas on how the heck we have a wood in the trash slot of this building? I'm a bit concerned about that. How did that happen? I don't know. Now, the other idea, given the whole debacle we already went through with these two, I'm not going to do it, but because stuff on the end can spoil, and we're going to have a Flora Spolinin getter ridder over here, we could then use that as a priority fuel to fuel things before the wood, right? And that would be a way to utilize the Flora Spolinin. The problem with that is then these guys can't work the way we had them working. So that's not going to work as well. But it's an idea. Is the wood mostly automated now? No, not at all. I just am throwing logs in a chest. We are still a ways away from forestries where we can automate wood. I mean, a ways away. We'll probably be there in a couple episodes, but we still got some researching to do. But I believe the only thing left here is the small parts setup, and we are good to go. Oops. Don't want to mine those rocks. Well, maybe I do. They're going to be in the way. Yeah, so basically I want to copy this setup, but I want to make it more... maybe I'll make it over here. I want to make it go faster. So... because if we actually plug this in... I wish it selected the filter by default. Just one click, it would save me. Because I want to do by factory 1. And then I want to see where things go from there. Okay, and then... okay, so not that one. I guess I want to limit the biggest one by 1. So if that's limited to 1. Then we get 2.667. Okay. And we need to think about the rates of these things. We've got 4 cable out, which is kind of absurd. I actually need to use sideways inserters here. And that means we need to feed 4 cable into this monstrosity. Which that should do it. And then the gears, 1.334. But that's consuming 2.667 iron. Okay. The sticks are consuming 2 iron. Oh gosh, this is harder than I thought. This is probably not gonna actually work. And then that makes 4 sticks, which this cannot handle. Which, yeah, we're just gonna probably have to settle for not having the max rate here. Because that makes 4 bolts and 4 bolts. We need equal amounts of bolts and cable, so. Now, what have I missed? Because in Space Age, you don't have to hit a use filters button. So why does Pi still have this? I know this is how Pi used to work, but Space Age changed Factorio and it made every inserter a filter inserter. And if you have nothing selected, doesn't it just work like a normal inserter? And it's not like it's on blacklist. As soon as you select one of the filters, it does go to whitelisting that item. It's almost like it's in the middle. It's not a whitelist or blacklist, it's just an inserter. And then as soon as you start filtering something, but here in Pi, you have to check the use filters button first. Glim, you're still scratching your head about the wood in the trash slot. It must have been from like changing a recipe or something. But even then, that doesn't put wood in the trash slot. So I really don't know. Really don't know what happened there. Maybe I had empty planter box set as the rest. No, I don't think so. Huh. Yeah, I don't actually know what happened there. Anyway, I'm gonna have to get fuel to all of these. That's the real kicker. I don't know if we're gonna be able to. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get fuel to all these, but that should give us a healthy amount of small parts. If we can manage. Alright, there's that. How much copper do I need? 2? Alright, now wood could go in a couple places. If it went on the iron and the copper belt, that takes care of these 3. And then I just need those 2. So let's do that. We're just gonna spaghetti our way to victory, as one does. Perfect. And then I believe if I have a single inserter. Oh, that's for placement. Ah. I need a parameterized filtered inserter is what I need. For whenever I want to just filter something. And then we'll put the mic on. And then I can just plop that and then pick wood. And then it's filtered for wood. Okay. Because there's a pretty high rate of using something like that. Okay, so then that gets wood to all the things. So they're clean burning. And there we go. So there is a lot of small parts, and that goes on a magical journey over here. And then we just need to bring ash over. Which I'll probably bring down. I'll probably bring it over here. Because ash is used in a variety of places, for sure. Okay. I know it's weird to have ash come up and then ash come down, but it's necessary. The good news is we probably only need one belt of ash out and not 4. But yeah, basically, once we have splitters, this will get a lot better, of course. But we're just gonna unload all of these. And hopefully that'll be enough. Alright, so there's the ash out belt. And I think we did it. No. Still have this guy. Spaghetti over here. Spaghetti everywhere. Boom. With any amount of luck, we have automated automation science pack. Woohoo! And that does not spoil, so we don't have to worry about anything of that nature. So let's go grab the labs, and I'm going to put them kind of far away, and that's because we will only benefit from that by having more space to get the other sciences over there. I promise. So we're gonna pick these up. I already made 6 more, so we're gonna have 10 labs. You say no thank you, Glim, but it's very possible that one of the later, like Pi Science 1, spoils. It's very possible. But that's already something that's gonna happen. I'm scared to look ahead, because I don't want it to be true. Oh, thank God it doesn't. Phew. Doesn't spoil. Alright, we're okay. None of them spoil. Sweet. Alright, yeah, there we go. We got science. We'll take this up, and away. I think maybe right about here in this grassy, on the grassy knoll here, we shall place 10 labs. What am I doing? Go vertical, because then I can actually see what we're doing. And what's up there? That's quartz. Hey, we found quartz. Good deal. Okay, but then that makes me want to make this belt down here. And that's gonna bother me that that's one tile off, so move that. This going. That is 10, right? That's 10. And then throw down the inserters with a power pole. Every 2 buildings. Of course, the power poles don't connect, so we need another power pole. And then I need to craft a bunch of power poles because we gotta connect all the way back. Hello, Simeon. Welcome, welcome. Boom. All right, we did it. Automation science is checked off the list. Boom. 0.4 a second is maybe not accomplished. Hold on. I failed to look at inserter numbers. Let us check what we're doing here. So we need 2 a second per build. Right, I should look at these. We need 2 a second of flora. So we need way more than 1 inserter. Thankfully we have a sideways inserter. We can do that. And then that should be good for small parts. Okay, so those are good. These guys need 2.4 ash, but we divide that by 2, so it's really 1.2 ash. But then also 4 soil. Yeah, those are gonna need another inserter as well. Yeah, I don't know why. I normally am checking on like inserter rates. I don't know why that totally slipped my mind for these guys. I probably should do something like that for you. And I think that's okay. We did check inserter rates for all the small parts stuff. Technically that needs 4 stone a second. This isn't enough. I need another one. Okay, hopefully that keeps up. Now the wood isn't keeping up. We need 2.08 wood. Alright, filter those on wood only. Whew, that was bad. Okay, now I think we'll get our 0.4 a second. Sweet. Okay, and we need a buffer for sure. You definitely want a buffer in this economy. I might even do 2 chests as a buffer. And then looks like we're going on that side of the belt. Put the rest in, and now we can freely research all of the pY1 stuff. It's wonderful. Yay! What are we going to research first? I mean, I kind of want to do inventory size. I'm not going to lie. Though 0.4 a second, that's still going to... Oh, no, that's fine. That'll only take 5 minutes. It's worth 5 minutes of research to get another 5 inventory slots. Sweet. Alright. Now, those aren't supposed to run full time, I don't think. Yeah, that only runs 0.8 at a time. These run 0.8 at a time. So the only things that really should be running constantly are the soil extractors and these 2 burners. If we ever see those blinking red, then that's a problem. They still have the glass sound from vanilla. What? I don't know what you mean. Oh, for picking up the packs? Is that what we're talking about? It doesn't really sound very glass-like to me. But anyway. Alright, I think we are good to go. I'm also realizing we're just gonna waste flora. So it's probably better if I do this. And then this. Uh-oh. Wait, no, this isn't working. How do I fix this? Why is this so complicated? Just go one tile further. Right, I guess. And then you can do this. Okay. There we go. And then we do want to put an alarm on that. So this is where map tags are important. Alarm needed. And we do flora, small. Spell linen. Right, there's a lot of letters to that. So we need an alarm there eventually. And we need to actually deal with the issue eventually. But, you know, alarms first. Crap. We already run out of wood. We go grab, we put all our logs in the storage area here. Plop 300 more in there. What's the actual amount of wood we need per science? 1.8. And logs are 1 to 5. So it's really like 0.2 logs per science. So 100 logs is... Let me just confuse myself. 0.4 logs. Basically 2 science per log. So that's only like 600 science. Got it. Got it. Cool. Alright, that's like our first real automation. Let's get a screenshot of that bad boy. And yeah, we're at 1 hour and 3 minutes, so that's a perfect transition point to end this episode. If you're here live, don't go anywhere. We'll keep streaming, don't worry. But that'll be it for the YouTube recording. So yeah, we'll be working on solving our steel problems, iron oxide, coal gas, and tar byproducts. And then we'll do some paving of stone, and then we'll need some new goals. So yeah, as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you're interested in supporting me making these videos, please head over to patreon.com/Krydax. If you'd like to join and just hang out with all of us, I mean, I say all of us, a lot of people in the chat are in the Krydania Discord as well. We hang out and have fun, and so head over to the Krydania Discord if you're looking for a place to chill or you want to talk about Pi. There's also a pYmods Discord if you want to talk about Pi in particular. But yeah, head over there. Hope to see you guys there. And as always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you in the next episode. Alright, I am going to take a quick restroom break, and I gotta grab something real quick, so it'll be like 3 or 4 minutes. You guys stretch your legs, get some water, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Break time's over. It's time to get serious. Ah, look at all that inventory space. Glorious. Glorious. Alright, now what? Getting all sorts of notifications. Let's do useless. Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to our Christmas Eve stream. So, in our last episode we automated automation science, which sounds redundant, but it's not, and we're not running full time, so something's going wrong here. It looks like it's a lack of stone brick, like on the belt. So that seems to be the issue right now. We can probably fix that, maybe. I don't even know if we have enough stone. But we can do this at least to try to fix it. And if that doesn't fix it, well, I don't know what will. Oh, our carriage in. Oh my gosh. What we might want to do is grab more belts and make more underground belts real quick. I need to put that on the list. Make underground belts. Now that we have more iron, that's a bit more affordable. Pipes, I'm good. Inserters, 200. Belts, take them all. And then I'll make some undergrounds. And then I'll make some iron chests. And then small parts, 400 seems good. And then air core inductors, 200 seems like enough for now. Hey Snipe, thanks for the follow. We've got those 5 inventory slots done. Now let's move on to actually doing some researches that matter. So we'll do, we'll just do all the cheap ones. Ash separation, fluid pressurization, kerogen processing. This is a big deal. And we can even make retorters already with steel. And then shale oil can be used to make condensates, light oil, and heavy oil. Until I have oil burners, though, it's kind of meh, but like it's easier to just get rid of the kerogen than anything else, which is what I'm thinking about doing right now. And there's aluminum and tin unlocked. We'll need a lot of these fluid mining drills. Concrete. Refined concrete could be worth... Oh, right, it's expensive. We'll see. We'll see what tile we end up going with. We'll queue up ceramic and engines. Engines let us get pumps, which is nice, because then we can get water to further places. And engines are actually not that hard. They are aluminum, but like it's just a bunch of small parts and some pipes and some aluminum. So it's really not the end of the world. But yeah, anyway, what I was thinking is we could... all of the raw coal is interchangeable with kerogen. So I can just use this. How many do we have here? 14? I guess I'll go this way. I can just use this like another belt of raw coal. And then what we'll do is bring it up to there where we're using, and we'll prioritize it. This isn't a forever thing. Kerogen is actually quite useful for getting oil-based stuff later. So this is really just for now until I need the kerogen or something else. And it doesn't really change much. Like, yes, technically it's gonna save me a bunch of raw coal, but raw coal is so cheap and I have a 50 million patch. So it doesn't really matter. This is more just because I don't want to have 5 billion chests of kerogen. Alright. Go up this way. And then... yeah, basically, we just want to come up to here. I don't even know how to... how do you do a priority with just inserters? This is such a mess. Chayus, I wouldn't worry about it. We mine so much stone that having a few 50,000 Keratin built up versus 0 isn't gonna change that much, because you always need to mine stone, so you're always gonna be getting Keratin. And at some point, there are certain things that are, I think, worth buffering, you know, like ash, for example. You know, we're building up a huge stockpile of that, and that actually will save us some amount of work. I think the Keratin's not as big of a deal. And I could totally be wrong about that. There's room for that, but at least with how I'm thinking about it right now, it's not really necessary. So I probably should just, because this rock hole is not, yeah. So what's the way to do this? So we want to, no. Hold on. I'm thinking, I'm cooking. Alright, so if we side load... no, let's not side load there. We'll do 3 Keratins going that way. And then I will side load rock hole. So that's prioritizing the inserted Keratin. Then, for this, I guess I could just have the Keratin going. And then we side load. What was this one? I don't know what that is. Oh, that's because we didn't have enough. That's what it was. And Keratin has a higher fuel value than raw coal, so that always works. There's no problem there. So then this one just needs to be side loaded onto this. And now Keratin is kind of prioritized, and now we just need to put it on both sides of the belt. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Okay, that's close enough. Cool. Researches are just flying by here, which is great. We've already got, what did we get done? Go scroll 10 light years to the bottom. We got mining with fluid done, so I need to work on fluid mining drills. Speaking of fluids, we need to work on... how's power, by the way? Power seems to be fine. Though, I don't think I have a great solution for my boilers. So, let me check on that. Oh my gosh. Need a bigger radar zone. Okay, so yeah, what are we doing over here? Because these are not capable of running those boilers at full speed. And these will fill up with ash eventually, but it'll take a while. I mean, that's, you know, 32,000 ash. That doesn't happen that fast. Even if it burns 1 a second, that's still 10 hours, basically. So. Oh my, copper. What's going on here? Our copper patch is already half empty. What in the hootenanny's going on? Alright. Don't like that one bit. How are the tailing spawns? I haven't built any tailing spawns yet, so that's an answer for your question. They aren't, is the answer. Nope. This one. Alright, and then ash. Alright, there we go. More copper. And I don't really know the best way to do this, but I'll probably sideload that and then have like 3 inserters. Sideloading to there. And that way they're low priority, which is good, because we want to prioritize these other ones that are already mining. So that works. Okay. Dunzo. And now steel. How's steel looking? Is steel even running still? No, it's not, because we don't have anything. Exhaust pipe. That's a new, it's not called a gas vent anymore. It's called an exhaust pipe. I know this feels like a crime, but I'm just gonna vent my coal gas. And we're just gonna tailings pond up the old tar. And I don't want to chop 50 trees right now, so we're gonna put it up here. Now the issue with this is that tailings ponds can overflow. And they create basically like radioactive ground. I mean, not radioactive, but you know, polluted. So if it goes over 1 million, it doesn't just stop filling up like a tank. So we're gonna have to make sure we don't get 1 million tar. I don't think that'll happen very easily. Even if that's running constantly, we're 4 hours away from that. So that's not gonna happen super quick, but it could happen. Also, did we not hook up the tar here? There we go. Oh, that one. Oh, that was... What happened there? I don't know what happened. Pipes are not freaking long enough. That's what happened there. Somehow I keep running out of undergrounds. Doesn't matter how many I craft. That's why we need to automate them. That's why you automate things, Crydax. Cool. Okay, so we've automated coke. We have not dealt with coal oxide, but I have dealt with coal gas and tar. Let's automate those underground belts. And then I also am going to ditch all of this because we just have we have a better situation going on over here. And what we will do is steal these small parts. The reason I did it with the quick adjustable inserters right there, by the way, is if you place it here and then rotate it with bobs, it's annoying because it like picked up the item. So what you want to do is instead you use the quick adjustable button, and then it won't actually, it's like disabled for now until you finish telling it where it's going to pick up and drop from. So that's something I like about the quick adjustable that I'm excited about using more. Are tasks better in some way than vanilla? Control Alt left mouse button. How is that like a task? What? I have no idea. Like, I understand that that's a thing, but how on earth is that like a task list? That's a completely different type of function. I don't see the overlap there. All right, we're gonna let this build up quite a bit larger. Oh crap. I don't have enough bolts. Are you talking about the pinning thing? Where it adds pins over here? Because those are not really like tasks and they take up your entire screen. So I don't like pins. I really didn't enjoy that in Space Age. The more spaceships you pinned, the more the you know, whatever this thing's called, just the tooltip, the more the tooltips like went off the bottom of the screen. That was really, again, it's really janky if the default settings in your game are causing tooltips to go off the screen. And that's how Factorio Space Age is right now with how pins work. It's like they have all this stuff over here, and I don't know why they put pins in between the map and the tooltip. Tooltip at cursor is not superior, Ragard, because you have to press a button, and I don't want to have to press a button most of the time. And I don't always want the tooltip at the cursor. What I would like, Ragard, since you're here, maybe you can make my dreams come true for Christmas, maybe you can play Santa, is the ability to have the tooltip over on the side, but if you press the hotkey, it pops over to the mouse. So if you've got one that's too big for the side of the screen, you could then press the button to bring it to the mouse. But like, you don't have to press it just to make it occur over anywhere. Like, that, to me, that's the perfect solution. Oh no, so much work to press a button. It is so much work to press a button. It honestly is. Like, you say that like it doesn't matter, but I'm looking at tooltips all the time, and I'm mousing over stuff, and it's nice because you can just keep your eyes locked in the same spot. And I think tooltip on the side of the screen is actually very convenient. I tried the tooltip at mouse. I actually tried it. I gave it a try, and I didn't like it. So I gave it the college try. Now, back to how do we actually get more frickin' stuff into this? I mean, a couple ways. Give myself a little bit more right here. Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons why the tooltip at cursor just doesn't work super well. Tooltips are so large that I think most of the time a tooltip at a cursor is worse. It has more downsides than upsides. It certainly has some upsides, but for a game like this, there's a lot of tooltip stuff going on, and especially in a mod pack, there's even more, and I just think having it not covering up half of your screen in a moving position, you know, because based on where your mouse is, and it's like, I don't know, because then it's like you feel like you're, yeah, it's hard to explain why it doesn't, it just, the idea of tooltip at the mouse, but only when you press a button, it just doesn't work for me, because half the time I'm looking for information, I'm like, where is it? Oh right, I have to press a button. And yeah, Rygard, it has been like that for years, but not in base Factorio. Like, I think there were very few scenarios in the game that Wooba sold me that I could make the tooltip go off the screen without modding it. But with Space Age, why do the pins for spaceships and space platforms go right here, so then it shoves tooltips off the bottom of the screen? It is true logistics chess went off the screen. Sorry, you're right. That was always a thing. But other than that, and that felt like a lesser problem. It was still sort of a problem, but a lesser problem. But now with the pins being over here, it's awful. Because pins, you just have 7 platforms, and now your pins are all the way down to here, and then you have like no room for a tooltip. So I don't understand why pins are over there. I don't even think it's enough room for... I think pins should go up here and make a second bar that you could minimize. I mean, that's one of the big things, is just not being able to minimize the pins. Also feels really weird to me. There's just a lot of UI stuff in Space Age that felt really weird to me. Just to be perfectly honest. And I'm not like good weird, like I'm not really understanding why it is this way, because it kind of seems to have a lot of downsides to it type ways. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. All right, back to... We just don't... I'm trying to figure this out while I'm talking, and I'm not finding any solutions, because we need... I was thinking about moving this one tile over and down. Covarex is allergic to collapsible UIs. Well, that could be part of the problem, I guess, because I think for certain scenarios, the ability to collapse a UI is incredibly helpful. And I think the pins menu, like pinning all your spaceships and bases, is one of those situations. Because that's not something you want on your screen 24/7. But it is something you need access to. And having 2 clicks to access it is far better than having to not make pins because you don't want them to take up screen real estate. That's my opinion, because they take up so much screen real estate. I wouldn't pin my bases. I didn't pin my Glabo base. I didn't pin my other bases because they took up way too much space. And it just feels silly of like, there's no option for people who don't want it to take up screen real estate all the time. There's just literally no options for us. You just don't pin things. So I don't think that's a very good... That's not a very player-friendly attitude, in my opinion. Because it's like, okay, if you're using the tooltip at mouse cursor, then you do have more real estate over here. But even then, you might not want it covered up with pins all the time. I don't know. That feels like a very preference-based thing. Now, we don't have enough iron, but I don't really feel like more iron is the answer right now, because we've got 2 full belts going. I guess one of the belts isn't totally full, but other than that. So I can't really get any more iron. We don't have enough inserters for these things, which is slowing down my small parts production. I think I'm just gonna have to live with it. We'll get faster inserters soon enough. I mean, it's not that long before we get yellow inserters. I mean, it's a while. We need circuits. Never mind. But I don't know what bike shedding means, but yeah, I can imagine that it's a difficult job to get UI stuff going properly. I also just realized we're not feeding wood into these. We got all sorts of issues. I feel like this is dangerous the way I'm doing this. This is gonna steal all of our... We don't want to steal all of our transport belts. I gotta say, it feels like cheating to have wire this early, but it's nice, and I like it. Let's discuss the horrible 900 pixel border when in map mode. Yeah, I've complained about this too. Just making the entire screen smaller for, like, it's, yeah. I can totally see why it's a thing, you know, but I think at the end of the day, it does feel like it's taking up more screen real estate than it's worth as well. Oh boy, we're gonna run out of logs really fast. We maybe need to beeline it for automated wood production here. Because we're gonna run out of logs. Futile expenditure of time and energy in discussion of marginal technical issues. Yeah, that sounds like Factorio devs. That sounds about right. I mean, that just sounds like Factorio players, but like, obviously people who work on the game are gonna be like, you know, even more into that sort of thing. Heck, that's half my stream. That's what I do as a Factorio player. Alright, well, got a few more logs here. And then, why am I researching steel axe? I don't remember clicking that. Oh, because I didn't. It's a created by steel plates thing. Okay. Moving on, I do want to rush towards wood processing. So we'll do glass, botany, which already unlocks our native flora thing, which is fun. And then moss, and then trees. Yeah, Rygard, I remember you talking about that. It really, I don't know if it's a being, like if it's because Wooba is not from the US, like I don't know if this is a country thing, but there is something about the UI design of Factorio that does feel very unintuitive in a way that's like, you could argue that it's a good UI, but do people actually feel like it's a good UI? And the answer, I feel like, has traditionally leaned more towards no. And it has seemed like something isn't quite right, you know, with the UI. And it's hard to explain, but yeah. I do feel like there have been tons of improvements made, though. I'm kind of just talking like more over the years. That's something I've seen. A lot of things that have had a lot of friction for players, I do think they've improved and changed. I don't think they've improved and changed all of them, but a lot of them for sure. So like that's a thing. Okay, so we need to get wood. What I'm thinking is we're gonna drag a wood belt along here. Maybe. Sure. And then we can get wood there. Oh, this one doesn't get any. Guess we can do this. And you get some, but now you're not getting any. I guess I can move this up a tile, move this up a tile. And then, how does that fix things? I don't know. Then I can put that there. Then I can put that there. Wood. Okay. Now I need to handcraft a bunch of underground belts. We won't have an actual UI designer, just artists and programmers. Alright, iron plates. I don't like how far I have to walk for iron plates. I probably should move this over. Wait, this is not the right recipe. What am I doing? I think I'm gonna take one inserter's worth of plates to be available, because otherwise it's too much. I don't want to steal too much iron to make undergrounds. So I'll take at most one inserter's worth. And then I don't need the other inserter that I actually had pulling from small parts to make undergrounds. So that helps. That helps a bit. Beautiful. Yes, UI design would get in the way of efficiency. Oh man. Yeah, Simeon, you play with multiple displays, but 2.0 introduced FPS issues for multi-monitor setups. That's a bummer. I've never tried a multi-monitor setup for Factorio because I thought it didn't work in the first place. So I wouldn't know much about that, but... Yeah, I mean, at this point, the game is far too locked into what it is to completely overhaul the UI. It would be really hard to do that, I'm sure, for a lot of reasons, both on the back end and the front end. Because the game's already what it is, and people are used to it, and, you know, changing things that people are already used to is already a downside. So it has to be really a lot better, and that sort of thing. But, that being said, you know, I agree that, like, whatever Wooba does next, it would be probably a good idea to hire some more UI testers even. You know, even if it's not actually hiring someone that works there for UI design, but just having more people say like, hey, this feels weird. And I don't know, because it does seem like there's a lot of people who have some UI issues with Factorio. But that being said, I've played a decent amount of factory games, and automation games, and Factorio has one of the best UIs, for sure. So, in some ways, I think Factorio's done things better than everybody else. We are super out of iron, I think. Yeah. Okay, well, the good news is I have a solution. Once I have steel, enough steel, I can make jaw crushers. And once I make some jaw crushers, we can get more iron for free. We're also not getting quite our maximum amount of iron, so it could be worth investing in that. Kind of tricky. Why don't we... Why don't I make one more? And then... what we're gonna do is... how do we even do this? We need to supplement all 4 of these with that iron, which I have a lot of mess going on in here. Let's move this over. Let's move that over so these poles aren't in my way. Because what I'd love to do is be able to go in straight to the side. Okay, I know this is crazy, but like 1, 2. Oh, we never left space for this one. 3, 4. Now we're good. Now we're doing spaghetti. now we're spaghetting. We have spagat. Alright. This is gonna come over here. And see, the problem is we don't have splitters, so we're just gonna have to use inserters for all of this. I don't even know how many, but just some number. I don't know, 5? I mean, how many inserters make a full belt? Let's start with that. About 10 make a lane, so about 20. So 5 for each should be reasonable. So those 5 go there. These 5 go here. And then these 5. Oh yeah, we're cooking. We are cooking. Aquilo soundtracks sound like the factory not growing. Yeah, as far as the bottom row of iron standing still, by the way, Dodo Cooker, is the steel. That's why. Is because steel's not running right now. But yeah, regarding the Space Age music, it's weird. I thought it was beautiful, but the only one that felt right to me, like video game music, that felt like a good background music for the game I was playing was Gleba. For whatever reason, the rest of them just didn't work for me. I really like them as music. Like, if I was just to put on the Space Age soundtrack in the background, beautiful. Beautiful music. I love the music. But for whatever reason, it just didn't work for me from like a video game perspective. And honestly, the bass Factorio sound, like, some people are like, oh my god, the Factorio soundtrack is the best thing I've ever heard. I'm not in that camp. It's fine. I'm surprised. I probably will at some point in my previous Pi run and in most of my Factorio gameplay. I have like a bigger playlist playing in the background. Because it's good music. I don't think it works for me forever. Like, I can't just listen to the same tracks. The same tracks mixed with silence forever and ever and ever. But, alright, so we've got a little bit more steel going now. And that's per hour. I was like, that doesn't look right. 1440. And for a second I thought it was like a comma instead of a decimal or something, but I'm like, I know this uses decimals. There we go. So 8 iron a second is what we're using up here. There we go. Alright, so let's bring this steel over. I think I'll actually over here. And then I don't really know where to bring it exactly. So how about just over there, roughly? We'll have some long belts. Maybe I'm going too far away from the core of everything before it gets used. But I feel like that produces better results if I leave space between things. Oh, that would be interesting. Change the instruments of the track that's playing. Huh. Yeah, the interrupting the flow of music certainly felt weird. And hot take moment incoming. Like the Jeopardy, you know, daily double sound. Hot take incoming. I actually think the way the music feels getting interrupted is how I feel as a player playing with siloed basses. I think at the end of the day, the siloed basses doesn't totally work for me, and it's that same kind of feeling. It doesn't feel like I'm doing one big thing. You can barely hear me over the steel machines. Are they a little too loud? How do I turn that down again? I feel like it's... What is it? Is it environment? I think it's environment. Like if I turn that off. Yes, okay. What? I can't hear you over the sounds of industry. All right. Environment goes down a little bit. Sorry, I didn't have my speaker volume loud enough, and that means I'm not... Like, I wasn't hearing it as super loud. Is that a little bit better? I think that's a little better now. Looking at the bars over there. Because, yeah, pie machines are very noisy. But it's only hitting -20, so I think that's okay. I think Pi needs to do a sound pass. Because, like, the sounds are good, it's just they're not all balanced in terms of overall audio levels. So certain machines are just too loud. Anyway, so what are we doing? We're kind of just derping around. Literally Zen Garden vibes. Yeah, yeah. Having loud steel making machines is very zen, right? Very zen. Okay, so we got that done. We've got undergrounds automated, which feels good. I actually think we're doing pretty good. We've got wood fueling all of these buildings, so let's take out the other things. Oop, that was wood. Oh, but it's not fueling these. So then we need to bring the wood belt down and around. Boom. It's fine. I have lots of spaghetti. What's a little more? What's a little more spaghetti? A jukebox inside the game would be nice as well. Yeah, like, I think it would be really nice if you could just open it up and say, I want to play the Gleba soundtrack. And it would just play the Gleba soundtrack, regardless of what planet you're looking at. You know, like, it would just play the soundtrack like a normal soundtrack. I don't know how else to say that. Alright, let me get rid of this rock hole, because we have a lot. We can probably ditch it by putting it in some of these guys. Maybe? There we go. What about Keragen? Do any of you have Keragen yet? No, they don't. They will. They will eventually. I bet some of these have Keragen. What if it just played the soundtrack of the surface your character is on, regardless of remote view? That would be fine too, but then you get kind of locked in if you just use remote view mainly. So that's the idea of letting the jukebox, you know, let you pick which surface you're listening to. I've never felt like, just in general, I don't even know. I think the idea of planet-specific tracks is cool, but in Factorio, you're going, it's all one big factory. So the idea is like, would you want to hear different music if you were looking at this part of your base versus this part of your base? No, that doesn't make any sense. And I think in the same way, hear me out, I think in the same way, playing different music on different planets doesn't make sense. Because the whole hope is that even though your factory is on different planets, it feels like one big factory, and not these really discrete experiences. Like in a first-person shooter, when you're going through the campaign and you enter a new level that has totally different aesthetic vibes and the music changes, like that's fine because you're playing a different part of the game. But in Factorio, you're always playing the same part of the game, which is building your factory. It's not like, to be fair though, on the flip side, yes, they are different planets. There is a big transition. You do go there for the first time. I think having the music kind of be locked in when like you just land and you're just starting the mechanics and you're solving the puzzle, that's fun. But then like in the late game, when you're kind of just doing stuff all over the place on all 5 planets, having the music switch back and forth all of a sudden makes a lot less sense. So it's kind of one of those things that I think makes a lot more sense for like the first experience, but not the whole experience. And I'm interested to see if there's a solution for that. Now, what are we going to do with iron oxide? I want to finish this checklist. let us research the jukebox. I want to say there is a jukebox of some sort. Didn't we see an FFF about it? Am I making this up? I swear, maybe it's a mod. Maybe the music controls are moddable. So there needs to be a jukebox mod. Has someone made a jukebox mod already? I'm Googling this. I'm pretty sure... It doesn't seem like anybody's made the mod yet. But I'm pretty sure we saw an FFF that said it's accessible to mods. So I think we can. In multiplayer? Wait, the music in multiplayer is not on a per player basis? I know so little about Factorio multiplayer. Hey, Mandriod, thanks for the follow. So the iron oxide is fine. Should we do anything about it? Should I just collect it? It does back up eventually. It's not going to back up very quickly with a build this small, but I could smelt it back into iron. It's a tiny amount of iron, but I could smelt it back into iron and bring it down here. I could just put it in more chests and not deal with it. It does get used later for lots of things. Ferrite being, I think, the main one. The main one I remember, at least. So you do end up producing a lot of it, but that's a long way down the road. So we're not seeing that in 5 ever. So for now, probably smelting it back down into iron is fine. Let me pop a foundry over here. And then we'll work on that. I'm still confused on how someone else being in remote view is controlling your music. Because like if you were looking at Fulgora, wouldn't your game be playing Fulgora music? Or I guess I'm just not quite understanding. Like someone else looking at Aquilo shouldn't play Aquilo music on your thing. At least that's what one would think. Maybe that's what's happening, which is weird. Alright, and then what we'll do... Get rid of these. And we'll just put... No, we won't put anything. That'll be fine. The rate here. I mean, it's actually quite fast, but we're never gonna make that much iron oxide, so it's fine. Alright, and then we bring iron over. And then we need to bring it down to there. Uh-oh. Gotta go around the Ash Mountain for now. We're gonna need a new Ash Mountain pretty soon. Alright. Get out of here. Can we go over that? We can. Perfect. Alright, all of that work, and then we can go there. Ooh! We had exactly the right amount of belts. Look at that, 0 belts left. You don't see that every day. You don't see that every day. Everyone... Yeah, that's so weird that multiplayer tracks care about what other people are doing in terms of what music it's playing on your machine. That sounds like a bug more than a feature. And I'm guessing it sounds like Ragard said someone's working on them, so that might actually be something that will get fixed. Alright, so we have completely dealt with iron oxide forever. That's not going to back up. We've got automated science, which is beautiful. We need radars, but we can't make radars till circuits, right? So I don't think it's worth researching. I mean, I might as well research it, I guess. And I'll research gun turrets, and I'll research stone walls, and I'll research repair packs just to get them all out of the way. And lamps! I can make lamps now, sort of. I can make glass. I haven't started collecting quartz, but we researched it. Power was struggling? Oh no, I'm not paying attention to power. It's the foundries. Yeah. It's the foundries. Okay. Right, we will vastly increase our boiler capabilities here in a moment. So we need a new build that can handle 2 inserters inserting. So we're gonna do something like this, and then this, and then this. And then we can have a belt of ash. These are ash inserters. And then we can handle the proper rate of things. And then that goes out. And we do power along the back. Okay, so that should work. We need water. And that gets our power working again. And then what I'd like to do is get rid of this whole chest issue. I don't know if I should do a separate stockpile here or not. Oh, I need a better gun just to destroy chests faster. How early do I get access to trains? Not for a while. I believe it's green science or late Pi 1 science. And Pi 1 science is the next one after what I have now. I think it's green science. Oh. No, it's Pi 1. Okay. But I think it's green science that gives you something. At least last time I didn't start doing trains until green science. Alright, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna painfully move all of this stuff into other chests. Okay, good. We got it all. Sort of. I need these. Alright. So, now we should be able to delete those. Copy this, flip it, plop it. Plop it, and plop it. Alright. Looks good. What's going on here? This feels very weird. Why don't I make this a little better here? Start with this. Any word about Factorio being brought to Space Age? I believe... I actually don't know about that. I want to say it's not, but I'm not actually sure that it's not. The squiggle is entirely unnecessary. Okay, that's a lot better. Cool. And now we don't have enough fuel. Just like on the belt. Right. So, is this even a full belt? Yes. It starts out full. So now I need another belt of rock coal going over there. I don't know what you missed, man. You tell me. We've just been working on the factory. We got lots of researches done. And now I'm trying to figure out how we get another belt of rock coal down there. Why don't we copy this? Put it over here. And then that'll be a belt of rock coal. I need some more miners. Okay, that's going on the right side. And then that'll get me another belt of raw coal, which I will actually bring over to this side of things. And, oh, what happened here? Oh, I know what happened there. My copper... Oh, I can't do that. The fuel for the copper is a lower priority than the fuel for boilers, which is good. The problem is the fuel for boilers is a lower priority than the fuel for everything other than copper right now. So that's the main issue. So when I switch this belt over, and I will do that, that should fix problems for now. How much power can we get out of a belt of rock coal? 60 megawatts? No. 45 megawatts only. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. You're working on K2 2.0, but it will not support space age. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And like, I think I said this in the previous stream. I don't remember which episode it was episodically, but most overhaul mods just don't make sense to work with space age. I feel like a lot of people really want it to. And I think people who really want it to are just having a knee-jerk reaction of like, well, the base game is now space age, so overhaul mods should work with it. But I don't think people are fully thinking through the fact that space age is an overhaul mod. It completely changes the game, and overhaul mods that were made for Factorio 1.1 don't make sense to mix with the overhaul that is space age. It did work with space exploration, but space exploration is very different than space age in quite a few significant ways. And those were two mods that, you know, if Factorio 2 had been made now, it probably would be made to be compatible, you know, but like those two are both a lot older, and so they both did a little bit to make each other compatible with each other. I think more on the Factorio becoming compatible end than space exploration becoming compatible, but that's a different topic. But that being said, I just think space age is a total overhaul mod, and really none of the overhaul mods are going to work with it. And I don't know if they even should try. Even if they could, kind of back to the Jeff Goldblum question, you know, the scientists were so busy asking if they could, they didn't stop to ask if they should. And I think in most cases the answer is shouldn't, because it's just a completely different game, and the balance is all different, and the goals are different, and the design direction is different. So there's just so much about space age that I don't think works with what overhaul mods are going for. Yeah, the combat in Factorio was pretty fun. They did fun stuff with like having like the bullets, and you can get this mod for space age. and I actually, if I play Space Age again, I'm sure I will someday, I will use this mod because it's really cool. It's, I'm trying to remember, it's like bullet scatter or something like that. I can't remember what it's called, but basically it turns bullets into actual, like, projectiles that travel and hit stuff, and sometimes they miss and will hit trees or rocks, and it just looks way cooler because there are, like, tracer rounds in the bullets. TLDR, SA fractured the game in half. We are now the Shattered Planet. We're cosplaying as a community, the Shattered Planet. No, I don't think it's quite that bad. But I do think Space Age is best seen as an overhaul or as a new game, and not just a new version of Factorio that all the mods should update to. Aguanton, it's kind of obvious from that question you just got here and didn't hear what I said 5 minutes ago. Not your fault, but it is kind of funny. Because I was just talking about that. And the short answer is no. Yeah, Dodo Cooker, that's one where I actually don't know if I agree. I think it's pretty safe to make... Like, that's just... In all the games I've ever played, when a DLC comes out, right at the very beginning, sometimes, you know, there's a decent number of people who don't have the DLCs or whatever, but often mods will require DLCs. Because often it allows you to do more with modding, and that's pretty normal, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I don't think mod makers should feel obligated to make their mod work without Space Age. If they're making a new mod these days, I think that's just how games work often when DLCs come out that have new features. So it's kind of like, yeah, that is unfortunate for people who don't buy the DLC, but like, if you want to have the cool mods of the game that needs the DLC features, and mod makers are going to want to use those DLC features to make their mods, and so it's totally normal that most mods will require Space Age. You know, like there are going to be people who make an overhaul mod that require the stacking mechanic. Even if they're not using the Space Age planet mechanic, they want to use the belt stacking mechanic, and so they're going to require that you have, you know, the Space Age DLC, because if you don't, then you're not going to have the correct experience of the mod, that sort of thing. So, like, I think it's okay that mod makers do that. I don't think they should be made to feel bad. We're like, oh, we can't play your mod without buying the DLC. I think it's fine. Obviously, it's a choice as a mod maker that you know some people won't be able to play your mod if you require Space Age. But I don't think you should feel like that's not an option. Like, you are free to choose as a mod maker if you want to make a mod that requires a DLC or not. Yeah, the elevated rails, the quality, all of it. If you're making, here's my tip. Not that anyone's listening who's making an overhaul mod, but if you are making an overhaul mod, don't try. The more you try to make it work with everything, the more terrible you make the balance of your game's experience or your mod's experience. So pick which things are gonna be there and pick which things aren't. Like, quality is not something that should be an option for your players, because with quality versus without quality is a completely different experience. So decide if you either want it in your mod or you don't, and then design the mod around that. Right? And it's the same thing with, I think it's pretty similar with belt stacking. There are ways you could add belt stacking where it wouldn't totally change the experience, but it's a pretty big change. And if you're balancing for belt stacking and then people play without it, that's going to be totally different, right? So just in general, I'm always a proponent of more options as a player. But as a mod maker, you actually want to be a proponent of less options. So you want to find a way to find the options that don't actually change the core gameplay experience, but change the more stuff on the frills. So like, you know, things that make things slightly easier or slightly harder, but it's not going to actually change the whole experience. Those are the options you want to give to players as much as you can. And then the options you don't want to give to players are going to be the options that will actually make it a completely different game, which would be something like quality. Granted, maybe you don't care. Maybe the intended experience is that you want the player to be able to customize their mod experience, and that's what you're going for. In which case, having those options might be fine, but you do that at the cost of being able to control some of the balance of the experience. So that's a really, it's kind of that, like, you know, there's so many of these memes out there, but it's like, you know, when you're like going to college, it's like sleep, good grades, or social life, and it's like pick two. You know, and it's like, okay, crap. And it's kind of like that with making mods, you know, it's like, okay, giving your players the options they want, in crafting a well-designed experience, and, you know, some other third thing, and you only get two of them. So, I don't know. Pick two. Two? You guys got two? Yeah, it does depend on your college and major. Sometimes you only get one to 1.5 of those. That's funny. All right, I'm chopping logs because we need so many logs for our science, and I maybe made the poor decision to put all of our assemblers burning wood, and so here we are. Yeah, Pi supports quality. I mean, I love that Pi is actually very allowant. Allowant is not a word, but I don't know the word that means the same thing that allowant would mean if it was a word. They allow a lot of things, and I like that. I don't know if they should allow quality at all. I mean, at the same time, though, it's like, look, if people want to play with quality, they can. It's just going to be a completely different game. Permissive, yeah, I guess that's a good word. Yeah, they very much say the game will be jacked all the heck if you install quality. Hey, 1,000 science packs at 7 hours. Beautiful. Yeah, and that's the thing. If quality was more moddable, I think Pi would have slowly introduced things piece by piece. But the problem is you can't change the recipes for higher quality things. So it's a fundamentally different experience to say you can make better versions of something if you just have more of the same ingredients. Whereas pYanodon's doesn't do that. What they do is they say, like, let's look at Glassworks, for example. So what they say is you can make tier 2 Glassworks once you have all these new complicated materials, and you're gonna be spending a lot more resources on one of these buildings. And that's how they want a higher quality Glassworks to be, right? So if you just replace the idea with now you can just make an uncommon Glassworks, it's a completely different experience, right? And so quality is doing such a different thing, and there's no way to make quality require a different recipe for higher qualities. And there's no way to make it so that an item doesn't have quality. If you have quality, everything has quality. And I just think that's kind of a sad reality. Hey, Merry Christmas, Simon. Alright, we're gonna go to 300 logs and then we're gonna be done for now. Because I think we're pretty close to being able to farm some wood, but there's still a few steps because I think we need moss for the trees. And you know what I should have been doing, though, is chopping a forest that was more in my way. Like, isn't there one over here? No, I guess there's not. Okay. This is a good forest to chop, actually. Let's finish up this little stand of trees. Have I made an expedition of all the modules available? No, I have not. Am I feeling relaxed after pruning my Zen garden? Yeah, this is nice. You know, sometimes just chopping trees and getting on a soapbox about various principles of game design, you know, feels good. All right, so we've got a bit more wood now. That should keep science going for a minute. And we've got a bit more steel, which is... What is... Oh, my underground over here is backwards. Don't know how that happened. So we've got some steel here. I should probably put some of that in a chest. And then what else? So, we want trees. We want to pave the world. Get trees going. So, let's look real quick at that chain. So, we need the tree seedlings. This is an F&E, I think. And we get the tree seedlings in a botanical nursery, which needs glass. So glass is required for the buildings, and steel for the fluid mining drill that goes in the nursery. So we're gonna need glass, we're gonna need moss, and moss needs muddy sludge and CO2. CO2 we can just make from coke, easy peasy, in a high pressure furnace. Muddy sludge we can make from water, because soil is also from water. So we need washers for that though, and we have everything we need for washers. We have, oh, we need aluminum as well. So we need aluminum and glass. And the tree seeds we're good to go on. Okay, so we need aluminum and glass before I can make the buildings I need to make trees. Got it. So those are the next, those are gonna go on the to-do list. Aluminium and glass. I don't know why I did aluminium, because that's the wrong spelling, but I'm sure some of you will be happy about it. Alright. Sweet. Seems like a decent time to end the episode. And yeah, J7J, it's a very long conversation that a lot of people have different opinions about. If you're in the Discord, hit me up there and we can chat a little bit more about content creation stuff. Because I do find those to be interesting conversations, but the short answer is be yourself. And to anyone watching, if you're interested in making content, only make content if you're doing it because you want to make the content. If you want to have a bunch of fans, or you want to, basically, if your measure of success relies on external factors that will not be in your control, not to be rude, but you probably will not succeed, because that's just how it works. That's how it works for everybody. And like it takes a combination of luck, skill, timing, and a bunch of other factors that are outside of your control to actually succeed in the world of content creation. And so if your goals have anything to do with like external success, that's fine. Just know that there's a low chance it ends up working. And that's true of a lot of endeavors in life. The whole idea of like, you know, you can be whatever you want to be if you just work hard enough, I don't, that is mostly BS. And it's definitely not true for content creation. There are people that have worked their asses off and they get no views because of, again, all these external factors that are not their fault and they're outside of their control. There are a lot of things that are in your control that you can try to do differently, but then you start living for this algorithm and you're not actually doing it because you want to do it, and that gets into whole other issues. So I'll probably call that the end of my soapbox for that, since we're wrapping up the episode here, but I do find it an interesting topic, so hit me up in the comments if anyone wants to talk more about it. But yeah, so I think we're going to be done for now. We need glass, which will come from this quartz up here. Ooh, it's a nice big patch. There's 24 million and I can't even see the rest of it. And then aluminum's right here, and that won't be too bad. I think you can just direct smelt aluminum. Glass is a little bit trickier, but aluminum, yeah, we can just direct smelt it. It's 10 to 1, so it's a terrible ratio to start with, but we can just throw it in stone furnaces, and we will. So that's nice. So yeah, we'll do those in the coming episodes, but for those of you from future YouTube recording land, as always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next episode. Alright, so what's the screenshot for this episode? What did we actually get done? Feels like this is how pYanodon's is, and it only gets more and more true the further you go. You can do a lot and feel like nothing happened. I mean, we ironed out a lot of problems with all that stuff, and we got wood to all of our things. We got steel going. We got the tailing. Maybe I'll take a picture of the tailings pond. That's a new... I feel like a new entity is worth screenshotting. We cut a bunch of trees. We did do that, yes. We did. I mean, I guess I can always just look at the task list and see what we've checked off the list. We made underground belts. We figured out coal gas and tar. We figured out the iron oxide. All right. Take a screenshot of this bad boy. Pie buildings really are awesome. I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again because I feel like I'm gonna keep saying it, and so I will. But pie, also look at the color. Like somehow the color of what's in here matches the tar. I don't even know how that works, but that's amazing. I also need to hydrate. If I can find my water. But I think pie is my favorite art. There are some axes on which it doesn't hit the top of the list for me, and I realize some people actually don't like the art style. I actually really do like the art style. I really like the animations, and I like how varied they are. In a lot of other mods, the art style is much more consistent and tight. Like if you were grading it for some, you know, like if it was someone's dissertation or whatever, like it would get a better grade maybe than pie does, but like I don't like it as much because it's all more similar and samey, and it's almost like too professional. I like that pie is almost like willing to kind of branch out and try different things and put weird little knobs and towers on things, and it doesn't create this like, oh, everything feels like it's part of the same technology. But I think that's actually okay too, because pie has so many recipes and so many different things where it's like it kind of feels okay that the buildings don't all have the same exact aesthetic. Whereas something like Industrial Revolution 3, like there's a lot fewer buildings, so it's easier to have kind of some aesthetics that run through all the buildings. But yeah, I love them. I think the animations are all really good. Some of them are better than others for sure. Like there are some buildings where I could just watch it for days, and there are other buildings where it's like, okay, it's fine. Like the soil extractor doesn't do anything crazy interesting. You know, it's just dumping soil. But even then, like, you know, it's like, okay, it's cool. It's like, you know, you can see that pump working, and it's like filtering out the soil from the water in there, and then it's dumping soil or sand out, and you can see the collection bin, and then that collection bin goes into like a thing that's feeding directly into the belt. I don't know. I like that. Okay, Mandriod. What did you say? The boiler to steam engine ratio. Oh yeah, someone was asking about that earlier and I never answered. Was that you? I'm pretty sure it's 1-to-1 now, though. Salsa. I like you like the pie playthroughs because you never have any idea what's going on. It's 2 boilers to 1 engine still? I don't think so. You're gonna have to prove it to me. So here's why I don't think so. I don't think this is the case because thing number 1. A boiler makes 7.5 steam per second at 250 degrees. That much we know for sure because it's just right on the tooltip. Thing number 2, the steam that it makes has an energy density of 2.1, or a heat capacity of 2.1. Water has been changed to also have a capacity of 2.1. It used to not. Water used to have a different capacity than steam, and that's where the drama came from in the season 2 early episodes, is because water and steam had a different capacity. Sometime since that drama, they're now the same. So that means if you spend 10 megajoules making steam, it will give you 10 megajoules worth of steam. Those numbers are now the same. They were different before, not so much. So, someone's saying pi overrides this. I don't know what you mean. This is the number that pi has set. It's not like it's showing me 2.1, but it's actually 1.0. This is the correct number. I don't know if that's what you're saying, but the numbers that the tooltip shows you is the right number. So, So that's all still good. So we're getting 7.5 steam at 250 degrees. So we've proven that, and it is 7.5 units of 250 degree steam. Now, onto the steam engine. So the steam engine has up to a 15-second consumption, but that is actually kind of irrelevant because that's more like the max consumption, but that only is relevant if you have the max temperature. So we don't have the max temperature, right? If we had the max temperature and we had 15, we could use 15 a second. Or sorry, if I had 500 degrees at 15 a second, it would make the 7.6 megawatts. That's why that green bar is not all the way full, is because we don't have the max temperature. Not because I have less than 7.5 a second. So what's going on is that it can consume exactly 7.5 steam. Wait a second. Hold on. No, maybe you guys are right. Maybe it is 2 boilers. Because basically this needs to consume 15 steam a second to still only produce 3.7 megawatts because of its 50% efficiency. I do know, by the way, I know I haven't mentioned the efficiency yet. I do know that. We talked about it last stream. I know that that's there. I was dealing with that when we did the math. The calculator has proof. I had a times 0.5 somewhere in there where we were thinking about that. I guess it's too far down in the history. But we were doing the math on the last stream about it. But I think what I missed... What did I miss? Well, I mean, we can just do the math super easy real quick. All we have to do is figure out 7.5 steam per second times 2.1 kilojoules per degree times 235 degrees. That is the energy capacity of 7.5 steam per second. And it gets us that much power, but at 50% efficiency, it only gets us this much power. So you guys are right, we do need 2 boilers. The steam temp and rate of consumption are linked. Well, they kind of are. The consumption, it's weird. So basically, I don't know which, is it a chicken or egg, like which thing sets which other thing, but they all work together to create the max available power, right? I don't know which one the mod settings actually set and which ones are calculated as a result of the things that are set. You know, what's the dependent and independent variable? I'm not sure. It kind of doesn't matter as the user. But the point is, temperature times consumption rate gives times efficiency, right? Those are the 3 variables. Those things multiplied together give you the power output. And since the temperature is fixed at basically half, it's not exactly half, but it's basically half, then that's why the green bar is only halfway full. Because it's saying even if I fed this thing infinity steam at 250 degrees, I would still only get 3.7 megawatts. Because it's configured to only work for its max power output at the max temperature. So anyway, I did do the math wrong. I don't know what I did wrong last stream, because I thought I had accounted for the 50% efficiency, and I thought I accounted for all the things I just said. I haven't learned anything new, but I must have just done the math wrong. Because I got to a 1-to-1 ratio in the last stream, but now I'm getting to a 2-to-1. So I don't know what I did wrong. I made a mistake somewhere. Not in the assumptions, but in the actual math. Because using the same set of assumptions just now, we got a ratio of 2-to-1. Yes, exactly. And Mandriod, that's why they changed it. Probably because someone watched my stream and was like, "Oh my god, this is worth changing." I don't actually know if it was me or not, but I think enough people complained about it because it was weird that water and steam had a different energy density. It made for a lot of confusion how you could put, because you would put 7 megawatts into a boiler but only get 3 megawatts worth of steam out, basically. It was really weird, you know, and it's like, wait, I put in 7, but I only got out 3, and that 50% efficiency wasn't displayed anywhere, because it technically wasn't the boiler being inefficient, it was the fact that steam and water had different heat capacities. So there was a built-in inefficiency to the actual fluid itself, and that was what was the hidden information. Whereas now, that 50% has just been transferred onto the steam engine side of things. And so it still kind of ends up being the same idea, where steam has less heat capacity, but it's actually displayed in a way that the player can see it, without having to hunt into the, you know, prototype explorer. So I think that's great. I'm glad they changed that. That being said, I am going to be done streaming here in a minute because it's Christmas Eve and I got Christmas Eve things to do, but I do want to figure out what's the best way to fix this. I mean, probably because it looks good. Just this? What if I just do this? Why are my drones not building any of that? Oh, that was weird. Oh, I guess when you're stuck in between buildings, the drones don't have a place they can spawn. Or something. I don't know. But I think something like this. And then I just connect up all the buildings. And now we've got 2 boilers per steam engine. Kind of wonky, but I like it. Do that, copy it, flip it, bop it, paste it. Alright, now the problem is we don't have splitters, right? And so we need fuel to all of these. Yeah, you can totally put a screenshot in Discord. I won't use it. I tend to... I basically never, like, I don't mind people sharing what they did, at least if it's a situation where it's not a spoilery type thing, but I basically never use other people's designs unless it's a really simple change from mine that just, like, makes it a lot better and it's not really, like, I don't know. I just like to make my own solutions to things generally. But what I'm not sure about, not having splitters makes me not want to do it this way, to be honest. But rather, I could just keep going. I'll maybe leave that for later. Maybe we'll wait until splitters to have the full output of our steam engines. And for now, I'll just do this. This is also a weird thing where I'll need twice as much in the middle as on the outsides. Imagine carbon copying a Zen garden. Yeah, exactly. That doesn't make any sense. Alright. I need boilers. 3, 4, 5, 6. And we need more undergrounds. And I think that's it. Maybe. Okay. Alright, well that should be enough power for a while, and we can expand out the other half once we have splitters, maybe. Does Pi use 2.0 fluids? Yes. Yes, it does. It really does, which is so nice. So yeah, I mean, I could just pipe the steam somewhere else. Alright, cool. We are going to call it a stream there. Thank you all for hanging out. If you're interested in syncing your save. Like, if you want to play along, you can go to the Crydania Discord, and I pinned the save, the initial save that you can sync mod settings with and stuff. And so you can basically load that save on your computer, hit the sync mod settings, and then you can play from there. You know, so that's all there if you're interested. See you guys later. Merry Christmas to everyone that celebrates it, and I will see you all later this week. See you later, Simeon, Snipe, Lodro, Aelor, Rockmod, Mandriod. See you later, Teus.